everything else. But I think that was that was the thing that was teased about this episode. You did it on Father's Day, right? I mean, even George R. Martin said it was one of the. It's dark and brutal, even for him. And so I think we've been hyping it up because I've talked about the way I think I would do it, and the way that you and I have talked about, like, this is how we think we'd do it, was like a way that was still less. It was way more crazy than the way they showed it, but not as, and it was kind of weird too, because it felt awkward in that she's like, then she runs to Allison and she's like, they killed the boy, almost as if like they knew it was going to happen.
Well, I thought it was her just being in shock and calling him a boy that removes him from being like, she didn't like, not my son.
I know. I think so too, but it was I don't know. It's kind of awkward. I didn't like it. I did not like blood and cheese.
So as a book reader, I think that this is nowhere near as good as the book. So in that regard, I'm very disappointed. Our initial reaction, by the way, 2 years ago was blood and cheese will not be shown on screen. Me and you said that. We said there's no way you can show that on television. Turns out, we were right. Right.
Yeah. I still think though, because like in the books they're having dinner, and it's almost like the way it's kind of the way it sort of just is described and feel like is they like kind of come up with the shadows. They've each got one of the kids, and it's like which one are.
I thought it was they visit Alice. I read it today.
No, I believe they said they're having dinner.
But I thought it was like after dinner or something, because they always go to hang out with Allison. Allison's supposed to be in the room. She's gagged.
She might be gagging.
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in that scene, but
shortly after.
Yeah.
So in the books, it is regardless. It's far better. I even thought about the way that they entered. Now maybe they wanted to show the traverse through the castle's fine.
That was kind of cool.
I thought it was going to come through like a secret door or something like that. I know that could seem convenient, but the books make it seem that way. Like you said, coming from the shadows, putting, killing the maid immediately.
And it's like, well, what passageways do you know? Because he's a rat catcher. He clearly could just take the normal route. Like, cause he walks through the
entire idea is that he's taking Maegor's passages.
Yeah. He walks through the throne room with the guards around him. And it's just like, oh, I'm the rat catcher. And like nobody bats an eye. So it's like, why did we need to take these like
no royal guard at the door during a time of civil war breaking out? It's kind of an oversight as well.
Yeah. I mean, again, I still liked the episode, but
if you don't know what happens in the book, it's not that bad. It's pretty good.
It's just weird because I honestly never even felt like disappointed with the scene in Game of Thrones until the first scene I ever felt like disappointed was in season 7. Yeah, like season 7 when Arya and Sansa are at like Winterfell with Baelish, and it kind of like that whole plot line, they just didn't know what to do with them. And like that was like the first time, and so that was all the way in season 7. I mean, technically we're halfway through House of the Dragon now by being in season 2. But yeah, so I'm just like, I mean, I still like
the rest of
the episode.
It did not hit like,
and I'm sure the rest of the season is going to be fine. I think it's a miss. I'm just being honest, because it's like Father's Day. Twitter could be, if they had gone a little more intense with it, because it almost felt like she didn't really have the weight of choosing. Because a big deal in the books is that both of the kids are like there and awake, and she chooses, and they take the other one.
Letting the kid know that their mom picked him to die. But
and so the whole deal is like both kids are very aware of what's happening, and so like she chooses and they say no, and then they do the other one, and this one she points and they're like, no, that's the right one, and then they kill him. So it didn't, like, even that didn't have the same feel to it. Plus they're like sleeping. I didn't like it.
They toned it down. So I think without any expectation of watching it, I think it's fine. I actually think it's plenty. Kelsey, my wife, has never read the books, and she was mortified. She's like, is that the sound of them sawing off his head? And I was like,
yes. See, I told Teresa what was going to happen because she wanted to know, because she was like, I was like, I think there's going to be something, because she like, there's like a lot of scenes in Game of Thrones where like she just doesn't do well with that kind of TV. So I was like, you're going to need to skip this scene and this scene and this scene. And I was like, you might want to skip this scene tonight, because I think it's going to be like really bad. And she's like, well, okay. And so then, but we watched it and she was kind of like, I mean, but she like had only known about like what happens like an hour prior.
Yeah, I mean, I still think as just a show only scene, it's totally fine. Gets
Oh
the
yeah,
point
yeah.
across.
It's totally not the end of it's totally not like the end of the world or anything.
But compared to the
But
books, it's way worse than the books. I mean, the idea that you
yeah, way
basically
worse in like
hostile.
it's crazy way, like not like it sucks in the books.
Yeah. I'm saying like
Yeah,
it's way more brutal in the books, but also
for sure.
I think the drama of the book and the tension of the books is way better. Just with like you said, having the two boys there and then her picking the youngest one because she thinks he won't know what's happening, even though he is old enough to realize it, and then killing the heir to the throne, Jaehaerys, which is a big deal. And then looking at the 2-year-old boy, and she says, "Your mom wanted to kill you. What do you think of that?" And then that is horrible, right?
Yeah.
Now, now Cheese, I think it's Cheese, or maybe it's Blood. One of the two are supposed to be caught with the head leaving at the gate,
Yeah.
by the way. So we'll see if that happens, if in the next episode or whatever. But without a doubt, I mean, for how much we've been hyping and we've been saying this is going to be like a Westeros TV moment. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think it's in the top 20.
No. I mean, even George Martin and the cast all hyped it up. I mean, they like Olivia Cook and everybody was like, it's like Red Wedding-esque.
It's not. I mean, it
And
should
it's
have been.
not.
It should
It
have
should
been.
have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
again,
would
it's
agree.
still it's out of the whole deal, it's one moment that we thought was going to be super epic.
Our
I
guts
mean,
were right, though. Our guts were right 2 years ago
that
when
they
me and you
wouldn't
both
show it.
said we thought there'd be shadows on the wall and maybe a blood hitting and
Yeah,
screaming.
I sort of thought what they were going to do is you'd like because I the way it's kind of described in the book is like they're at a dinner table, right? And because even the I think even the imagery we see, right? There's that like that shot in House in Fire and Blood, like one of the animated panels. And the way the way I was thinking of is that they would honestly just show Helena's face as they kill the other kid, and then it would be like, oh my god, they killed the other one, right? And so I thought that was going to be the way they do it, but I mean, it's still like again, you're still killing a kid, so obviously it's pretty dark, pretty brutal. So anyway, let's talk about some of the rest of the episode. Because like I said, we did really like the rest of the episode. Go ahead. Somebody have one more point on it? Go ahead.
So I brought this up because I'm trying to remember where it happened. So it says, thanks to Cheese's knowledge of the Red Keep secrets, the duo was able to infiltrate the Red Keep through a forgotten passageway. Cheese then led Blood into the heart of the Red Keep, successfully avoiding the guards reaching the Tower of the Hand. They crept through the walls, slipping into the chambers of Alicent Hightower. So it was supposed to happen in her bedroom.
Right.
Instead, they did it in Helena's bedroom. And then, so Alicent's supposed to be in the room when this happens, by the way.
Yeah, because if you like, let me pull up some of the images here.
But also, Alicent is supposed to bathe in his the murderer's blood later, or his family's blood or something, his mom and father's blood.
Yeah, because even some of like the official artwork, and again, the show you can do different things, you can play with whatever you want. Like this is the picture from Fire and Blood, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe I was thinking it's more sort of like
dinner-esque. Yeah, I mean, regardless, Alicent was supposed to be there, right? Yeah, I mean, look how gory this is. This is crazy. I mean, that's a child. Like that is crazy.
Yeah.
I literally don't think you could show that on television. Like, I don't think the FCC would let you do it in America. I don't know. Think. A child? I don't think. Dude.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I generally don't know what the rules are. I would assume no, but who knows?
Yeah, it's just funny because our gut was right. And you know what? I guess we should say this: the revelation of this scene is as bad as the Red Wedding, right? Like the actual scene itself. Sure. Like if you think about what happened in that scene, like forget how it's executed, but I'm talking about like the implications and the events of this episode are horrendous. I just feel like they really missed that. I don't even think they had to show it. That's my point. I think that they could have done shadows on the wall. I think they could have done more with it. And the drama of it is probably fine if you haven't read the books, but the drama in the book is just so much better with Helena having to make that choice. I mean, it's evil. Like it's straight evil what they do. And here, the most evil thing this guy does that is on screen or whatever at this point is like kicking a dog. I don't know. I just I'm kind of with you. If I was a show only person, I probably wouldn't mind it as much, depending on how hyped it was. But knowing what I know, I found Blood and Cheese to be disappointing.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Twitter here, and of course Twitter is what it is. So I mean,
Cesspit?
it just happens to be the thing. So I mean, for starters, a lot of people, the only people who actually know it's referred to as Blood and Cheese are book readers
Yeah,
because
that's true. Yeah.
because they never even said, I think, either of their names in the show.
I don't know if they did. Yeah, I can't remember.
I,
Blood and
I
Cheese is definitely like book lingo for sure.
for sure.